Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, I suppose, depending on where you are when you watch this. Ragewood here, back with a Dragonheir Silent Gods video. Still in the vest top, still sweating my titties off. But again, I don't apologise for it. It's warm here in the UK, and who thought we'd ever say that? But we're looking at the final dungeon here today, the Frost Domain. Not Frost Domain, we've done that one. Tempest Domain. With every season they do change the dungeons, and the Tempest Domain is exactly the same. And when the actual Grave of dungeons open up, we'll go through those too. But yes, this has changed. I'm going to go through those changes, let you know what the boss does, and then just talk about my team, why I have chosen them, followed by a run. Now, like all of my teams, it could be better, but I'm just sort of working with, or at least trying. I suppose this leads into another tip. At the moment, we've got the free resets, so we can use whomever we want, whenever we want. The problem will come is after 5 days, we can't do that. So you want to try and pick heroes that can fill multiple roles, multiple positions. So for me, I'm using Philosia in this and the Flame Domain. And just like Paxton, I'm also using in this one and the Frost Domain. So these two will be strong contenders for me to keep leveled up at the end of it because they're fulfilling multiple roles. So just another little sort of tidbit there for you guys. Like all the other ones then, this has not changed. Lightning and Radiant heroes will take increased damage and deal less damage. Elsronius, his skills do additional damage to heroes without buffs. He periodically soars away from the battlefield to summon young dragons to return, and returns to kill all surviving young dragons. So, just like a spider, he eats his young to make himself better. Who'd have thought? Every young dragon grants one stack of a random undispellable buff, and young dragons receive greatly decreased damage when they are not inflicted with debuffs. Now, this I think has changed. In that last season, I think control effects got rid of a stack of this debuff. They have 3 stacks of damage reduction, and I'm pretty sure you used to be able to use control effects as well to get rid of a stack. You cannot do that anymore. It has to be debuff, so it has to be frost, burn, poison, attack down, defense down, something like that to get rid of those stacks. You want to do this obviously as quickly as possible to stop that from happening. Now on my team I actually only have 2 debuffs, and then I've got 2 control effects, hence me finding out about the control effects. So whether control effects are supposed to work in Season 3 I don't know, but they certainly don't work now. Passive, immune to control, nothing new there. Each stack of buff that he has increases all damage dealt by 20%, so you really don't want any of these dragons to be eaten when Elsronius comes back down, because he's going to smack really hard, especially if you've got all 3 and he's got attack up as well, as you'll see some of these buffs in a moment. His first 2 abilities then, deals lightning damage. The current damage dealt increases by 100% if the enemy possesses no buffs. Nice and simple there. Try and keep some buffs up. The ultimate then soars into the sky, summons the 3 dragons. He deals lightning damage to all enemies and kills all young dragons simultaneously when he lands. Each young dragon killed grants him a random undispellable buff. So yeah, if he's getting this attack up, recovery over time, and recharge speed boost, something like that, you're not going to have a good time. You're going to be that single guy at a couple's party, and it's just going to be 0 fun for you. Young dragons possess 3 stacks of damage reduction, as we mentioned, but each debuff inflicted on them removes 1 stack. There we go. So as mentioned then, I only have 2 sort of debuffs. I have 3, but one of them single target. Paxton is one. he's bringing the burn for us. Alright, so he is going to be bringing 1 debuff. I've just got him in some enlightenment gear for the burns and the rascal slingshot because he has some accuracy, and he's going to get an extra 6.5 attack for every accuracy that he has. So he's going to get an extra, what's that, 390 attack. So I'm going to hit pretty hard. I do love the rascal slingshot. It was a great addition to Season 3. Theodomir I have as my tank. I brought him in because, as I say, control effects used to trigger. It does not now, but the run still works, so no need to change it. He does have attack penalty on his battle skill, but it only hits a singular person. Finja, saying she had a blind. I thought this would be wonderful. Again, does not work, but she is providing the heals, giving some recovery over time as well. Philosia, another support. I do need all this extra support because of not having the debuff. So this is what I'm saying. This is not the best run or the most fine-tuned it could be. You could certainly make it a lot better. I'm just being lazy, partly because, say, I want to try and limit the amount of heroes I'm going to have to level when the 5-day period ends. Well, I have a stay on now. I did not pull a stay on in my summoning session this morning. I was a bit salty, so went and bought 40 more dice. And with those, I got Esteon and I got Haldramar, so pretty happy with that. And he is going to be so annoying in Arena with this passive because he's reducing energy obtained through artifacts and skills by 80%. So that hourglass is giving you 100 skill haste. It's only giving you 20 now. Makes a big difference. But you didn't come here to see that. Why is she in here? So she's placing the defense down because she's got this sort of Zarloth sort of zonal ult. So there's a chance to trigger it. I can run this automatically. If I ran it manually, I would actually put the zone down first, so when they come down with their damage reduction, maybe it would get rid of it. I mean, that's something we can try together, actually. It's not something I've tested. Enlightenment aura, once again, to increase the burn and the shield and the healing from those two there. So let's roll, shall we? So Pikeston's getting an extra sort of 262 defense, and this is coming from Esteon's passive. And the nice thing about it in boss fights as well is it sort of works as almost like a pseudo defense down. So with her passive and the actual defense down, you're taking off a substantial sort of chunk of the boss's protection. So very nice in most situations. I believe it works on Vortex too, although it's not something I have tested, but I need to do Vortex this evening. So that was something I will certainly look to do. So I'm actually going to cast this one manually. Oh, we'll wait for that to come down, and then we're going to pop this here. No, didn't work, didn't remove them, but as you can see, we've only got 1 stack here, 3 stacks here, so this one probably not going to die. Yes, so we do get and this is the undispellable defense down at the top, or defense up at the top here, but we are somewhat counteracting that with the passive here. We actually failed to inflict defense down from witches as well. There we are. There you go. Stage 3, pretty clean. I'm doing it in just over a minute. I'm sure I could clean this up, especially if I got all these to 70. But I do need to go farm some goblins, and like we all always do, and that is definitely something I will be doing after my Vortex run today. But let's take a look at, other options potentially you could use. So back in the deploy screen then, so who could we use? Now, debuffs are going to be key here ultimately. Now, Debuffs don't necessarily mean attack down, defense down. As I mentioned, you could maybe bring someone that is applying frost, okay? You could go for someone with frost, someone with burn, and heck, you know, even maybe, I mean, I don't have them, but a Durango, or maybe you could put Twitch in here with your Witch's Remains. So those are your 3 debuffs. You know, there isn't amazing synergy there per se, but it doesn't matter. You've got your 3 team affinity at the top here, and these 2 are just here to fill the gap. So yeah, anyone with debuffs, literally anyone. Could be Elminster with attack accuracy down, attack down. So it could be frost, it could be poison, it could be, I don't even know what other debuffs there are. Block buffs. Okay, block buffs is only poison. Let's just go to everyone. So your Garrikas, you could bring Euripicas. He has actually, I mean, Euripicas actually, I didn't think about this, would be an insane shout here, because each strike has a chance to inflict a different debuff. And each unique debuff, that's the important thing here. You can't put 3 stacks of burn up because it won't clear. It has to be a unique debuff. So Ripicas here could be insane. Same with actually Stego Muffin. Didn't think of either of those. I never saw myself saying that those would be insane, but because of the amount of debuffs that they put out here, these 2 could be amazing. Obviously, you've got your Voresh, and this is just buff block. Healing reduction will also work. So you've got your Galens, your Quasitias, your Danella, for example. She's got accuracy penalty. Etches, you could also use, got recharge speed penalty. Definitely a few options there for you. The important thing is, don't worry about speed. Firstly, make sure that you can survive the run first, and then look to tweak your timings from there. So that's all from me. That is all 3 dungeons done. Hope you have found this insightful and it sort of helps you along your way in Season 4. This doesn't necessarily work for Season 3 or Season 2, because the debuffs and mechanics do change ever so slightly, but even in the previous seasons, dragons do still spawn, just the way you kill them may differ, and I think actually in Season 2 they didn't even have the damage reduction, so it should be easier. So if you are watching this, you're playing a different season, hopefully it still helps you. Look after yourselves, everyone, do take care, work hard, but most importantly, play harder, and I will see you in another video soon. Thanks for watching.